Hi everyone, this is your host of Vamo Radio, Vanessa Morgan, and I'm here today interviewing inspiring filmmaker and producer Alexia Anastasio. Hi Alexa.
Hi.
How are you today?
Amazing.
So great to hear.
A good day.
So great to hear. So Alexia, can you please explain to us how you got started in the film industry?
So it started way back when I was a little tyke. I was super shy when I was younger, and in kindergarten, I think it was kindergarten, nursery school. When my teachers asked my mom if I could speak, and my mom was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Like, she's so rambunctious at home. But I was super shy. I was introverted when I was younger. Wow. And so at 11, my mom finally put me into acting classes, and I liked it a little bit too much because it gave me permission to be me and my sprightly self. So after that, like I jumped into theater, and then I realized film is really where I thrive, and I love to, the community of doing something together because it's kind of like family. And so I jumped into independent film in New York. I grew up in New York, and so on Long Island specifically. So New York City was just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So I'd go into the city, I'd take acting classes, I'd get internships on films, independent films, and distribution, small distribution companies, and with film festivals, and I kind of just jumped into the arena while also going to school at SUNY Purchase. So it was a blast. The beginning of my career is just a lot of fun, hence why I'm still doing it today.
That is awesome, Alexia. Wow, that sounds a lot of work, though. You had school and going to film classes and still working on your career as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like work. And even now, like, I think that's the reason why I've been able to, sustain being in the industry, is because it doesn't feel like work. If it did, I definitely would have, turned around a long time ago.
I know, right? So, yeah. Alexia, what inspired you to be a film director, versus being a producer or an actress, as you say, even though the others were really fine as well as acting, you loved acting as well, but you really love film. So what inspired you to be a film director instead?
Yeah, I love creating, I love making people feel comfortable. One thing. It's like, I think maybe because my background was diving into that acting as my personal development growing up. So I find directing one of the most important jobs as a director is to make people feel comfortable on set and to all be working together. And then also the artist in me is the creator, is the visionary. So being able to control my creation, as much as I can, is another thing that I thrive in that creation part. So that's why I love directing. I also do produce, because these days making independent films, you have to make it happen. So directing and producing is what I thrive in that environment.
Wow. That is awesome. Wow. So with I know as well, it comes like it's still a lot of work to do as well. With being a director, a lot of things to put together as well. So what is the most challenging obstacle that you feel that you face in your field? Such as, attracting the talent, or either coming up with funding for your projects, or even just getting viewers for it,
Yeah, I think that the challenging part is organizing it all, because it's a lot of moving parts, and so when you never know which part to kind of put more of your time and energy towards, so you kind of have to balance it just through intuition. You're like, okay, so this, the universe is telling me this project right now is going forward, so I should put my time and energy towards this project. And then suddenly another opportunity comes on, and like another project like goes faster than another one on my plate. And I'm like, well, the universe says this, this is the time to like put the energy towards this project. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to listen to that. So it's interesting because making documentary narrative films, like sometimes my narrative films are finished a lot faster than my documentary films. And that's just it's just the nature of the game. So you kind of have to, you never know when the painting is done, but it's always a learning process. I'm still learning.
Wow. That is still really great to hear, that you still feel, even though like you've done so many great things in your life as far as perfecting your craft as well, and you still feel like you still have to learn, which is really true. We all have to learn, even though it's something we love doing, So I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. So, Alexia, what is the best way for a writer to turn a script into something much more than that?
Well, you start with, your intention, with what you want to see it in the world. So you kind of like the visual. I love visualizing. So kind of visualizing your end goal. Like, where do you see your film? Okay. So that's where you want to start, and then work backwards for that. So I like to ask advice to people who are in those positions and put myself in the room with those filmmakers and directors and producers and distributors and just ask questions. And sometimes I'll go to even like Amoeba Music, that's just say an independent movie and record store in Los Angeles, and I will go literally, and this is what I did when I was looking for my distributor for my most notable documentaries. I looked at the back of all the DVDs in the documentary section, and I said, look, so who is distributing documentaries these days? And it's a short list when you think about it. When you're doing a specific genre of film, wow. It's very specific. So you want to think about, okay, whose films do I want to be accompanied with? Because it's my reputation, and I want to get out my film to as many people as possible, inspire as many people as I can. So where do I need to place my film? And you kind of plan it out. And be very targeted. That's for when you're looking for distributors, when you're looking for film festivals, when you're looking for people to work with, cast and crew, producers, all of that.
Right. Okay. That sounds amazing. So, Alexia, when you're looking, as you said, you're looking for like a producer or a certain person for a certain job when you're trying to complete a project, and there's a lot of like certainty to it. There's a lot of specifics to it. Do you ever look for scripts or screenplays? That's something you would look for, or is that just something that you already, got in the back of the box, just something you already have?
Yeah. So I'm always open. I tend to write my own stuff, and then but it's interestingly enough, like a couple of people have reached out to me in wanting a writer, and I'm like, I sometimes say, like, well, I might know somebody that would be a good writer for you to work with, but other times I'm like, well, why is the universe asking me to write right now? Because I love writing. So I'm like, maybe I should listen to this, because that's 2 in a week. Like that's a big sign. So it really depends on the project. And for me, the theme between a lot of my work is inspiring others to live the creative life, world peace, and inner peace. So if the project has to do with those a little, that's even a broad, spectrum. But if it has to do with a little bit of that, I'll dig into it. I'll see like, oh, maybe this is a match. And if it's not, that's okay. I'll find somebody in my network, or maybe somebody in my network knows somebody else that would be perfect. I love being the connector if it's not me that's supposed to be working on that project.
Oh, wow. That is amazing to hear. Some people just turn away and like, okay, well, whatever. It's not me, so bye. But, you are amazing, Alexia.
Yeah, it's a small world, and you always want to give value. And so I always say, like, the person with the most karma points wins, and creating that community is the most important part. I actually run a meetup group called Create Yourself, and we do a lot of different events in the Los Angeles area, and I'm always, creating a tribe so people can work together.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is amazing. You do so much for people. You know that, right? Like, I mean, you just go around and about. You're everywhere. I love that. Like, you're not only perfecting yourself, but you're helping others as well. That's so beautiful to hear. And that's what all of us really need, to help each other, to unite as one. Because we all need help. We all still learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels good to give. So
It does.
I'm in a better mood because I get to help somebody.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So, Alexia, what are some of the ways for other people to get material over to you or to other directors? Do you know what would be the best way for them to contact you or to be able to just, yeah.
Sure, yeah. Anybody can contact me through my website, which is alexiaanastasio.com. That's AlexiaAnastasio.com. And just directors in general, many directors are listed on IMDb, and so usually their contact information is listed. So you want to kind of dive deep in your specific demographic, genre. Is this a type of project that is up the person's alley? Because, like, I'm not the type of person that's probably going to do a thriller anytime soon. But if it's a documentary about a creative, like, definitely talk to me. So there's specific, you want to look at who works on the different type of work in your field. And it's going to be a lot smaller list than you think. So you don't have to spend a gazillion hours finding it. It's just making it very clear to the universe, especially, and then to the person you're talking to, that you've done the research.
Sounds awesome, Alexia. There are a lot of us out here, aspiring filmmakers nowadays who are still trying to, as you are as well, perfect their craft too. So what are some suggestions that you can give to our listeners that are looking for supporting themselves in the filmmaking industry today?
Well, it's practice. Basically, just start by starting. Start making your short films. Start getting together. Like nowadays we can freaking make films on our phone. There's not much that's holding us back. And even if we say we don't have a smartphone, like we have resources of each other. So one person has a camera, another person can do sound, other people can act in the projects. So start by starting, make your movies, and get them out there in film festivals, on YouTube. To specific, heads of, production companies and studios and distribution companies, even short films. You can get your short films distributed. So there's that, and then for me, be open to other ways of supporting yourself while you're creating your brand. So I have many different I guess you would say like independent contractor type work that I do while I'm building my empire. It doesn't happen overnight. As an independent artist, it takes time. It's a roller coaster. It's a different path. The path of an artist is different than one of a doctor. But good thing, because I don't want all those student loans, that doctors have. I don't have to deal with that. I have a much easier, I find a much easier transition to doing what I love now is because it's basically everything, all the information is out there, all the audience is out. It's easier to reach your audience, easier to put together when you put together a crowdfunding campaign, you're you're saying like, hey, I'm open for business. I want to do this thing, and can you make it happen? And I've been using crowdfunding since 2009, and I teach about it, and it's such an empowering tool. So to tell everybody that like, hey, yeah, people do want to watch my films. They like it. They like this one. They like the next one. They like the one after that. I think I'm doing something right.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Alexia, for actually giving us that information, to give us that boost to, be able to actually have that motivation to know that there is still hope. We don't always have to have the fanciest material and everything. You can just start from scratch and just begin. Just start. Have something on paper. Have something completed. Have an initial and move from there.
Yeah.
So, Alexia, with that being said, I actually want to know, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, my goodness. So hard. Which I could have to probably pick like a favorite movie. All right, so one. Oh goodness, there's so many. But one movie that I think is a good one to mention is The Future by Miranda July. It's one of my favorite movies because it deals with relationships, and it deals with being an artist. And I love Miranda July. She does so many different things, from being a performance artist to being a writer and director and actor and just so I love to see other, especially female filmmakers, thrive in their art, film as art. So I would definitely suggest, The Future by Miranda July. That would be one of my favorite movies.
That is awesome. So, if that's your favorite movie, would you consider the director of that movie, or what would be your favorite director that sort of inspires you to do the most, or to actually continue your journey of filmmaking, and why?
She's definitely right now one of my favorite directors. Awesome. She also made a movie called Me and You and Everyone We Know, and it, especially right now, she's just such an inspiration to just doing it, and especially to connecting women in the community, and just showing. She's had email projects actually in the past where she's connected the relatability of like Kirsten Dunst and Lena Dunham and all these people, and like French artists, that like we all have similar things going on in our lives. Kim Kardashian has different problems than we do, but she still has problems. Right. We're all human. So it's when we dissect and we dive deep into those, basically we're all made up of atoms. Just like the chair and the table and, the things that are around us, the material things that are around us, we can appreciate like everything around us. I'm gonna focus on Miranda July because I just think it's so important. Miranda July, and then of course Maya Deren is an amazing experimental filmmaker, and she has a lot of amazing experimental like dance films, and also she goes into the reflection of self in her films. So I make films for like my narrative films are for art and introspection sake. I often say like my writing is so I can cathartically release the relationship drama that's gone on in my life, and so other people can reflect that and make positive changes in their own. And then my documentaries are to learn and grow. So it's all fun. It's all fun, and the process and the progress of it is the growth.
Sounds good. That is beautiful. Actually, Alexia, what do you feel, as far as you've gotten now, what do you feel has been the hardest part of your career that you've had to face?
The hardest part. I mean, I think it's always tough when, because with filmmaking you have to work with people. And so it's always tough when you put energy into building relationships when you're working with people, and then those relationships end. So I think that has actually been the hardest part of my film career, is just like building my team and then having to start scratch again and build it up again. Because you want to make sure you have the aligned individuals working with you that are on the same page and have the same values as you.
Right.
So going within again and figuring out, okay, like, well, what are my values? What are my intentions of making this film? What do I want to make in the world? What do I want to put out into the world? And so, like, for me, that's been the hardest part. But it's also a part that gets lighter in time, because it becomes easier, because you become more clear in time.
Right. Of course. Also, okay, and as well, I know, as a director, that you also shoot actually a lot of short pieces as well, more than just the longer projects, as well as short films. So as a director, do you shoot commercials and music videos as well?
So yeah, I do what I guess you would call it promo videos or branding videos. I've done those in the past, and then I directed a music video recently that we're cutting together now for a female artist named Olivia May, and so I'm excited about how that's coming to fruition. And I love playing. I love playing with colors. I love playing with music. I love playing with actors and collaborating. So that one was a fun one, because we got to go on location at a community farm in Hollywood called Waddles Farm, and it was just so much to play with. So yeah, I love music videos. I want to do more, actually. So yeah, I love music videos. And then my documentaries that I'm in post-production, we're almost finished with it, actually, is a documentary on a hip-hop artist. His name is Victory. He's part of a group called Catastrophe. And so I'm excited about that, because it's about his rise to fame through the flame. He was caught in a house fire when he was 3 years old and lost his parents and 2 out of 3 of his siblings. So it's a sort of legacy piece. That's a feature film, but yeah. So yeah, lots of, again, inspirational, creative themes.
Sounds awesome. That is a lot. That is really cool. Actually, I didn't know. I know, like, filmmakers, I know that you would make, like, movies and everything, but you also do music videos, especially hip-hop. That's really a powerful, strong message to send, especially through film, which is amazing. I'm glad that you're doing that as well. So, Alexia, in the beginning of your career, how did you begin to support yourself? Like, what would you say was your main support system?
My family.
Your family.
Absolutely. The encouragement, even though they didn't I don't think they understood. I don't think they still understand what I'm doing or the business that I'm in, but they always stood by me, and they were just, especially my mom, because my mom, she likes to talk, like, when she's not talking to me, like, she likes to talk about me to her friends, and so I'm like, why can't you just talk to me like you talk to your friends, right? But she's so supportive, and she's a girl boss, so having my mom as an amazing mentor to see that, hey, if I want something, I can get it. All I need to do is put the sweat equity in, and plant the seeds, and then finally, like a bamboo, it shoots up. Literally, like, you see those analogies, those memes and whatever, but like, it's true. It takes time to build a career, a thriving career, and but it's so worth it.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you actually have, so much love and support. That's beautiful, especially for it coming from family members. That's amazing as well. So, Alexia, I know that you've done so much work, and I know you've at least had to win so many awards by now. So, what are some of the what are some of the awards that you have won so far?
Well, I think I've a couple of different film festivals. I got a grant from the Tribeca Film Institute. Things like that are especially for my film Adventures in Platoons. And then also, just getting into a film festival, like, I've gotten to over 40 festivals with that film. So I played at museums. We played, literally, they toured me. I was the first filmmaker that McMinimans in Oregon toured me like a band. So I played my film for a week in Seattle at the Northwest Film Forum. So playing at film festivals and getting flown around to different film festivals is quite an honor. So many filmmakers are like, I couldn't get into any film festivals. I'm like, well, wow. You got to do your research, but you also have to put in the work on your film at the same time. So, like, Adventures in Platoons, my most notable documentary, I put in 2.5 years making that movie, and then years promoting it, going to conventions, like, putting in that marketing time. That's part of the creation. That's kind of like going to college with your movie. You're like, okay, now distribution, it's graduating, but you still, like, your kid's still not an adult yet. You still need to nurture it and add water to it so people can see, like, okay, you can watch my movie for free on Amazon Prime now. So it's still growing.
That is so cool. That is amazing. And you guys, it just goes to show that so much hard work, when you put in hard work, you get it out. It comes right back to you, when you put that hard, but you most definitely, you have to put that work in, though. And that goes to show you, people still today, we're still trying, we're still learning. No matter how big they get, they're still trying, we're still learning. We're all still learning. I'm still learning. I'm learning now. So, Alexia, how can people stay in connection with you?
Yeah, they can stay connected with me through my website, alexiaanastasio.com, or Twitter or Instagram, where I'm at Alexia Anastasio. Or on Facebook, I'm Alexia Anastasio Director. But yeah, most platforms, I usually just have my name, Alexia Anastasio, and you could find me.
Sounds awesome, Alexia. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Alexia, this has been such an amazing interview. Thank you so much for calling in. You guys, this has just been Alexia Anastasio. She's an amazing filmmaker and producer. Check out some of her work. Just Google her name and you'll find everything out. Thank you so much, Alexia. You are so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day, Alexia. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Vanessa Morgan on Vamo Radio.